Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to show you what I think might be the best EF to RF adapter available for the Canon R7 and the R10. And that's going to be this VILTROX EF to RF speed booster and adapter. Now, this is currently the adapter that I'm using on my R5 with my EF 16-35. And what it's allowed me to do with that specific lens is that is an f4 lens. So it's allowed me to come down to 2.8, which makes this lens a lot more usable on my R5. The downside with using this on my R5 or any other full frame camera for that matter is that I do have to run in cropped mode, which for me isn't an issue. I do prefer the cropped mode on my R5 as it lets me record a higher quality 4K without any worries of overheating whatsoever. Now, where this adapter is going to be absolute magic on the R7 and the R10 is that they are aps-c censored cameras. This adapter was primarily made for the Red Komodo and the Canon C70, which use a Super 35 sensor. It is a smaller than full frame sensor, which is slightly larger than an aps-c sensor. But this speed booster will have the exact same effect on the aps-c sensor, just like it does on my R5 in crop mode, which is essentially the exact same crop. Now, for anyone who doesn't already know what this speed booster is going to do for those cameras, it's going to do two major things. And those two things are two of the reasons that made the VILTROX speed booster for the Canon M50 and the M6 Mark II one of the most popular accessories for those platforms when using EF lenses. Now, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to give you an extra stop of light. So if you're using an f4 lens like I'm doing here, you're going to be able to come down to 2.8. If you're using a lens like the EF 50mm Nifty 50, which is I believe a 1.8, it should let you technically come down to like a 1.2. So it's going to give you a lot faster lens, which is why it's called a speed booster. It will boost the speed of your lens because it's allowing more light through the center of that lens, which effectively adds a stop of light. Now that's huge for anyone who wants to use some of these EF lenses that they've had in the past on the crop sensor cameras like the R7 and the R10, because there's quite a few f4 EF lenses that you can get at reasonable prices. And if you're going to have to use an adapter anyway, why not use one that's going to give you a little bit of extra benefit? Now, the second major benefit that you're going to see is it's going to increase the field of view that aps-c sensor is able to get. So let's say you were going to put a 50mm EF lens with a standard adapter onto your aps-c censored R7. What you would get is something around like an 86mm field of view, because that lens was meant for a full frame camera. So when you take in consideration the crop, it technically zooms it in. If you put that same 50mm onto this speed booster, you're going to get something closer to about a 56mm. So it's going to allow you to use that lens more closely like it was designed for a full frame camera. Now, this is something that the M50 and the M6 Mark II users have been able to take advantage of for years. And if you search around YouTube, you will find dozens upon dozens of videos on the VILTROX speed booster with the M50 and the M6 Mark II, where most people had nothing but positive things to say about what that adapter was able to let them do on those platforms, which were also aps-c platforms. Now, at the time of posting this video, I haven't really seen anyone else mention this speed booster, and I personally didn't even really think about it myself until I was putting it back on this lens to do a video the other day, and then it dawned on me that this would be an absolutely fantastic accessory for the R10 and the R7, if not the best accessory for the R10 and the R7. My line of thinking on this is that if you're going to use EF lenses on those bodies, you're going to have to get an adapter anyway. So why not get an adapter that's actually going to give you some added benefit that the standard Canon EF to RF adapter will not give you? Now, there is a trade-off in price because the standard Canon adapter runs about $100, whereas the VILTROX adapter comes in at about $270 or so, which will pay for itself in the long run when you're using these EF lenses on those bodies. Now, I'm going to put a link to this adapter down in the description below for anyone who wants to check it out. If you have any thoughts about this or questions, please feel free to ask down in the comment section below, or if you just want to talk about the R7 and the R10 in general, please feel free to post away. I do answer most comments. If you like this video and you found it helpful, please hit that thumbs up as it helps the video and the channel greatly. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell notification. That way you get alerts anytime I put out a new camera or tech related video. And with that being said, until next time.